Is it wrong to invoke the help of higher entities or empowered beings? So, this is a big argument, and some people believe that you should not, you know, uh, worship, gods and goddesses and demigods and deities, and they're using a lot of words and so forth, and a lot of confusion in that matter. But it's not confusing actually, and I want to discuss that in this video today, that it's actually not wrong, to do that. And let me give my nuanced perspective on it, right? For those of you who like the contents of my videos, don't forget to press like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is going to greatly help my channel to be able to reach out to more people. And I would love to hear from you as well. Please don't forget to drop a comment. I love to hear what you have to say, right? And also, if you could share my video with your friends or those you feel may benefit from these videos, or your favorite social media channel, will be doing me a great favor. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Osman, hashtag the blind Muslim yogi. I am a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities, specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and spiritual ailments. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing this art form for almost 50 years and teaching it now for 46 years. In that period, I had the good fortune to have the opportunity to study under various great masters from different schools of thought, from different cultures across the globe, from the Far East, the Middle East, the West, and including the scientific communities. I've even adapted and created my own unique protocols, adapting them to the 21st century, basically making them faster, quicker, easier, more time efficient, and results oriented. To that end, I now have students in over 100 countries, and my favorite protocol is my 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free by visiting my website, yogawellness786.com, and where you can get more information about my services. Please also remember my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So, coming back to invoking, the deity. So, there's this big clash of, religions, and especially the Muslims say the Hindus are worshipping too many gods. They're not worshipping, they're worshipping stones and worshipping idols, and, you know, and just talking without knowledge and without, you know, uh, thinking deeply and investigating properly and studying things before you point a finger, before you make judgment. Try to, analyze the other side and what's the science behind it, right? Before you go, and it is one of the most complex science. A very small portion of it, I would say, like just the cream of it. Like cream means the essence, right? So I wouldn't say try to claim that I know the essence of Sana. I've studied multiple religions. I'm a Muslim. I also studied. Wasn't always a Muslim, but I studied various religions before I decided to choose my religion, and I made my choice, Islam, because I found that to be far easier, very simple, and um, suiting me. My different strokes for different folks, right? So I'm not against any other person's choices, and I respect everyone's choices, and I respect all religions, right? I even respect if you decide you want to believe in any religion as well. I respect that. You want to be a total atheist, and if you want to be a satanic as well. I mean, I'm an energy healer. I've got clients who are also satanics, and I don't refuse treatment, and they're actually good friends of mine. I get along well with them, right? And they give me a lot of information and insight, into their worship and what they do and so forth. It's very fascinating for me, right? And so forth. So let's go to the principle: is it wrong to invoke? So let's come to you as a human. Now you've got a child, and your child is deathly sick, right? She's like it's 9 months old or something, very ill. You go to the doctor, and the doctor sends you to the pediatrician. Why did you go to the doctor? You're seeking the help of the doctor, right? Is it worshipping the doctor if you go to the doctor, right? You're not worshiping. The doctor has got that skill, he's got the power and the knowledge which you don't have. So you go and seek his help because you need that knowledge and skill to assist you in that moment. But you don't have that power, and that doctor also he doesn't have. He sends you to someone who's more qualified, who's a pediatrician. For that, if you got a heart problem, you go to a cardiologist. If your car is needs a service, you take it to the service center, to the BMW service center or the Tesla service center, or the Mercedes service center, or the Toyota service center, or Nissan service center, or Renault service center, or the Tata service center. I'm trying to be pluralistic, not go to a Ford service center, American cars and electric cars, and Japanese cars, and Korean cars, right? Kia service center, and so forth, right? Does it mean you're worshiping them? No, they've got a specialized power to be able to fix certain things. That this thing. So, like there are also subtle energy forms. So let's forget about the subtle. There are some people with more knowledge than others. Like you go to school to learn in this. You go to university and learn under your professor, right? You take a course in drama, you take a course in mindfulness practice, or in yoga, or you take on pottery, or in psychology or physics, right? You go to the different professors. Are you worshiping them? No. They've got specialized knowledge and specialists in that field, and they will give you direction and help you to complete your course, and you get the credit for your course, right? So, like that, there are also in the spiritual field some people more experienced than others. Like, so I'm teaching advanced level yoga meditation, right? I've experienced multiple samadhi levels. I wouldn't call myself as an enlightened person because I'm not permanently on that level, but I've had enlightenment experience, right? Temporarily, and I come back down. And there's a lot of work that needs to be permanently in that. I mean, you took Gopi Krishna, I think a total of 34 years, right, to reach the full enlightenment level, right? So he had his first Kundalini experience, I think after 17 years or something of practicing, right? And then further, he was 34 years and another 15 years more, right? Before he had the complete, he matured in his enlightenment. It takes time for maturation for the full enlightenment level, right? So you get people on that level, on different levels, but I know how to guide people to awaken the Kundalini safely, and I, am able to unblock the pathway, make the pathway easier. That is not uncommon, not in every student, but not uncommon for my students to have a out of body experience, right? We use that term within 1 to 2 days, right? The progress is very rapid because I spent decade refining, the multiple, from learning from multiple teachers from different schools of thought across the globe, from different cultures, from the far east, the middle east, and the west, and the scientific aspects as well, right? So combining science, with everything as well, combining everything. So obviously, I spend a lot of time in this because I wanted to do things the easier way, right? And it took me, I think, I think about 40 years for me to learn how to, from the time I first started to learn and practice yoga, learn how to control my kundalini. It took me 40 years, right? And for my first kundalini awakening was around 10 years after I started to practice, right? Was the first, which would be called, so from 10 years took 30 years from the first kundalini for me just to figure out how, and then I teach my students upfront. They don't have to take 30 years. They know upfront how to do it within um, a 1 or 2 hour session. I teach them how to do that, right? And how to control it, and in a very safe manner. So does it mean that they're worshiping me by coming to me and seeking my help? No. So I'm slowly escalating it, right? Then you get some people like Sadhguru, who's enlightened, right? He can mass initiate people. I cannot. I can only initiate one at a time, right? So he can mass initiate people. He can initiate a whole room full of people instantly, right? He's got a very high power level, right? So does it mean you worshiping him? Does he claim to be God? No, he doesn't say he's God. He doesn't worship anything actually, right? Does he deny the God principle? No, he doesn't deny. He says there's a creator, right? And the creator is like beyond, he believes beyond the concept of the mind. He, I believe, from how he talks, believes in the Advaita principle, right? Then you get, so these are things what you can see with the naked eye, right? So they are higher frequencies that you can't see with the naked eye because we are not tuned to those frequencies, and there are entities in those higher frequencies that are more evolved than us, right? So of course the aliens that came to earth and so forth, or claims of aliens, so people still deny there's such a thing as alien. So okay, I mean, um, I can't say that I didn't see, because I did see, on camera. I was working on a site. We saw on camera and we recorded the footage, but we had to sign confidentiality and not release it to the public, and because the staff were very superstitious and the entire plant would have come to a standstill, and people, because some people are superstitious, and they believe that it's possessed and there's evil spirits and things like that. To avoid all that type of thing, we kept things only within the management. Between myself, I was one of the senior managers, and the CEO, of that particular company. And so we don't talk, and plus it's something that you can't empirically prove, right? So we try not to discuss things that you can't prove empirically, but some people have a belief that they are higher frequency beings, right? Empowered beings, the devis and devas. There's a mantra to invoke them. They are invoking the mantra, and they are experiencing varying degrees according to each person's efforts and qualification and evolution of each person, because each person is evolved differently, right? And they are able to invoke different levels and they see major benefits, right? There's too many of it. And some of them even see the forms and can talk to these, the higher entities, and they become worshipful of it. And Sadhguru says you should not worship, they're just, power beings, right? And they're just higher frequency beings, and they're not, the God principle is much higher than them, you know and they are Devis and Devas, right? It's like the South African movie, the old one is available for free on YouTube. I'm not getting paid to say this. And the gods must be crazy. So there was this local African tribe that saw the first non-tribal man, right? He was probably coming from, the Europe subcontinent, and he was lighter in complexion and much taller, and probably seems to be of Dutch ethnicity, would be a more politically correct word. I don't believe in saying white people and black people and so forth. That's why they thought he was God. Immediately they bow down and worship. So when someone see a Devi appear in front of you, and so effulgent and so beautiful, and so full of like amazing love and tranquility, and who's, so do you blame people for not bowing down and worshiping and falling down, right? If they falling down to see a human, and they worshiping, see something that just appears in front of you. So it is different people, they want to be worshipful, and uh, they, we must not be judgment. We are not God, right? God is probably understanding that, that the people are on that, they can't understand that which is beyond the concept of mind. This is like too high, too philosophical. And maybe who's to say that it's not his mercy and it is divine play of God, to come in that way? Who's to say that he has a son and doesn't have a son? And so, of course, yes, the Quran claims that he doesn't have a daughter and doesn't have a son, and and so forth, and so forth, and different perspectives, because but doesn't mean an alternative perspective is incorrect. right? You have to be pluralistic, right? Because who knows what is right and wrong, right? Who's we can't take a narrow meaning of what we read. We don't know what the deeper meanings of what we read and this thing. So there are also people that passed away, that were higher beings, and the people they connect with them. So there is people who can connect telepathically, you know because are these people dead and gone who are very highly elevated? They are in higher frequencies. Some of them go to higher frequencies, right? And they can be invoked, or you can connect with them and you get guidance, from them. Or this is what these people believe. So is it incorrect to invoke higher beings, the devis, the devas, or the so-called gods and goddesses, right? So it's an incorrect English word, but we'll say Devis, this effulgent beings, or luminous, beings, high, and there's also lower frequency beings, right? Not only lower frequency beings, right? That people believe in, right? And spirit, of course, I myself, got experience, first-hand experience, with these entities, but you can't take them and put them under a microscope, right? And this thing. But there is a sect in Indonesia, right? Right? You want empirical evidence? There's a sect in Indonesia. They trap lower frequency entities, or so-called jinn, or so-called spirits, right? Or evil entities, right? Some of them are very evil, and they trap them and lock them in a bottle, and they sell them. So you can go buy a bottle. Go to Indonesia, find where these people buy a bottle. You'll have one for yourself, they can be controlled. They were designed to be, you can purchase and have it, as your own, like a slave, so to speak. But there is, I understand, there must be a contract. There must be, a two-way thing. They actually don't consider themselves your slave. They just consider it's a business transaction, that they were just trapped, and then now, um, they're gonna, do things for you, and you're gonna do something in return to them, for them as well, right? So, but anyway, in Indonesia, they've got them in bottles. You can go there and investigate it, put it under your microscope, right? Open the bottle and let loose this thing. So there are things that go bump in the night, right? So if you study deeper and deeper and deeper and go deeper into these things, and go into like the making of Poltergeist, right? The movie Poltergeist 1, 2, 3, right? And go and listen to the stories of these people. Go and listen to, I think there's a movie, The Exorcist, and the characters in the movie, what happened to them, right? And do some background research, right? And welcome, you can experience them. If you really want to, you're going to experience, because nothing better than having the experience. So, coming back to, is it wrong for people to invoke? No. So, from a perspective, let's say someone who believes in God, you believe in Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. Is it wrong for you to invoke something that can help you? No, because God can help you. Yes, it can help you. But there are certain things that it's ready at hand, right? So God is so high, and certain things, is menial tasks. God is not your dog, not to do menial things for you. Now you want to pass your exams. God must come and make you pass your exam. So you invoke it. There's a deity for that. There's a mantra for that, to help you to be able to imbibe the knowledge, to make things easier for you to pass the knowledge, to pass the exam. They are, you can invoke those things. Or you're struggling in business, and you want, the obstacles to be removed, and or you are struggling to win an election, or you want to, gain votes, or you want to become more popular, or you want to become more charismatic, and you just can't seem to be lucky with the opposite sex. And of course you can't, I mean, it's not good to control other people, but you can become more charismatic and become more, balanced in your energy, so that you attract more people, and also you need to do some training on how to communicate as well, right? So you learn these books, and, resort to, this is not worshiping, right? Doesn't, I mean, some people worship it, right? Doesn't mean if you also resort to it that you are worshipping, you don't have to worship. You can take a mantra and recite the mantra and get the benefit of the mantra. Why not? Right? My opinion, right? Doesn't mean you're worshipping. So it's just my view on this. And some people call on, like even in the Islamic faith, there are some people who call on the Prophet, or they call on the descendants of the Prophet. They call on like Hussein, and they say these were, highly religious or powerful beings, and they go and pray, and speak to them at the graves because these were like saintly people, and that's their belief. Who are you to say? Because they themselves who are Muslims say, no, we're not worshipping, we are asking. But the other Muslims, the extremists, say, by you asking that which you can't see is your form of worship. You must only ask God. Ask God to come, do menial tasks. No, there is this thing, these beings make it easier, because like to intercede, who's right here, the person, the help is here. You can ask the person, and he got power to help you. Some people got power to help, right? They got more powers than other people, right? So why go to the doctor if you believe you must only ask God? Don't go to the doctor, right? Don't go to university. Just stay as isolation. Don't even go to the supermarket. There's God. Why should you go to work? Don't go to work. Pray to God. God will provide the money. You put the cash in your hand. You put the food in your hand, and so forth, and work like that. God doesn't say things like that. You need to utilize. There's a hierarchy of power. There's different people on different hierarchies. Just because only what you can see with the eyes doesn't mean this is only what exists. The bees can see, I don't know how many percent more than you. The owls can see so much more than you. The cats in the dark, they can see much more than you. The dogs can hear better than you. They can smell better than you. You know what, you don't even know. You have so limited senses, right? And there are, I mean, now fortunately, quantum physics is coming to the fore, and they've proven there are other dimensions, and they've put in the thing that for sure there are other, higher frequency beings, and they will be more intelligent, right? In quantum physics, there's this. So, you go in deeper into it. Of course, not everyone agreeing with that hypothesis, and, evidences that are brought forth, right? So there is this thing, a person by the name Billy Carson, right? He's done great research on the science base of higher frequency entities, right? From a quantum physics perspective, you can search for forbidden knowledge or Billy Carson, right? He's got his own channel, right? And called forbiddenknowledge.tv, and his website is, I think, forbiddenknowledge.org or something, right? And he's written books, right, on the subject, right, of the higher frequency entity, right? And there are the tantras and the mantras, and there's stories of, especially in the Buddhist. Let's look from a Buddhist angle, right? Because science is leaning towards, the Buddhist methods, right, methodologies. So they believe, the Tibetan Buddhists, they believe in Tara, and there's stories of how the goddess, or the Devi, right? Let's use the word Devi. Don't say the word goddess. Devi Tara came to the assistance of people time and again, and even in modern day, right? When people were in very distraught situations, they got the assistance. They learned how to practice it and invoke the help when they needed an emergency. And so many people's lives were saved that way, right? So should they not invoke and save their lives, right? So these are just my perspectives, and learn to be more pluralistic. Don't point fingers, and try to widen your knowledge. Now knowledge is at your fingertips, right? And everything is, available to you in your handset, right? So use that handset to increase your knowledge before you start discriminating, and calling names, and calling other people who's like, discriminatory and so forth. I say I object to that. I don't accept you calling me, black, and brown, and you know uh, by identify by colors. My name is Osman. right? I don't identify with the color of my skin, or everyone has got challenges. Everyone got some positive points and negative points. I've got my challenges, I can't see, but I believe I can see better than most people who got eyes. I mean, you can listen to most of my videos. I've created so many videos, right? Means I can see a lot of things with my mind's eye, right? With my eye of wisdom, right? And of course, I wasn't blind always. I'm only now blind now for 3 years, right? So before that, I'm now 57. So for 54 years of my life, I was able to see. I had full eyesight, right? So, um, be careful before you start pointing fingers, right? And I hope that information opens your mind into perspectives and get you to think deeper, and you know um, give things deeper thought, and maybe utilize a lot of help that is available to you. Right? So take care of yourself always.